Hi and welcome. It's Peg, and this is the fast version of a video that I shot while doing a live show with Chelsea on Art Joy of Sharing. Art Joy of Sharing is a sister channel that I share with Shell and do our live broadcast from each Thursday at 10:30 Central Time. And if you'd like to watch along and be in the chat with us live, then come over there Thursday morning at 10:30. You can watch the whole thing in real time just by visiting that channel too. This is the sped up version of that um, video that we shot. I'm just sharing some happy mail, and today we're going to work on the pick a stick challenge. This is something that Shell and I have been doing for, I don't know, 5-6 years now. Um, it's a challenge that we offer our Facebook group, and uh, we do art journaling by pulling popsicle sticks with prompts on them. And so today the prompts had two colors, which were cocoa and pistachio. And the first prompt, I think, was graffiti. And so I'm using this sidewalk stencil. This is a Mary Beth Shaw sidewalk stencil from Puerto Rico, I believe. And I'm thinking about graffiti on the sidewalks. And so I'm using a couple of different ones out of that grouping. I think she did 4 different stencils, and I'm just applying the paint using brayer. I'm showing several different types of brayers that you can get. And so now I'm switching over to that green pistachio color and layering some more onto the background. We have a live audience, so we're talking with the live audience, and Shell also is videotaping at the same time. Normally in the live show, you get to see both of us working at the same time. But one of the things that goes really well with stencils is spray paint. So I'm going to get this Liquitex spray and use another stencil from Stencil Girl. This one is, I can't remember who the artist is on that one, but check out Stencil Girl stencils because Shell and I are both on the design team. Now I'm looking at rub-ons because the next prompt was not just graffiti but letters. So I'm using these rub-on letters and making my own graffiti by just, rubbing on some different characters into the background. And then I'm also going to do a little bit of graffiti with this large rubber stamp. I'm showing the back side of this page. These Arnold Grumbacher pages are nice because they can go in and out of the journal. They pop in and out real easily. So I'm just using this script stamp and some green in a, what do they call that? Archival ink. And I'm also going to brush some of that around the edges to add more to the green background. So here are the prompts. Graffiti, letters, quirky human, finger staple, and wild cards are sponge and repeat. So if you don't happen to like the first 6, you can use 2 of those wild cards and substitute in one of the other prompts. So I am just taking a photo for Instagram because the texture on this background is really gorgeous, and doing a live video is okay, but you don't get what you get in a photograph. So I like to post some of that stuff on Instagram just so people can get a close-up view. Now I'm adding some paint. Yeah, I'm messing up the backside of my page doing that, but I'm adding some paint drips. I want to tone down some of that background. So yeah, I made a mess on the back and I'll have to clean that up later. But I have this image. Unsplash has a lot of photography that is free to use for artists, and so I'm going to add these two hands clasping. Finger, as you remember, was one of the prompts, and I'm finger painting, and I'm using these fingers in human forms on my page. And then I'm going to coat it with some matte medium because that paper is just text weight paper, and I need to seal it so that I can add more media on top. You know, if you just glue that down, it's going to be porous paper, and I'm going to come at it with some watercolor, and I want to be able to go over the top and add some color to this image. So just pulling out some colors that I have on my desk that I was using the other day, and going to paint in my image using that. And then I'm going to grab some, I have some collage papers that come from a friend of mine. Rachel is Soul Art, Soul, my goodness, spit it out, Soul Rain Art. Rachel has these free collage papers that she created that is a digital download. So if you go visit her and go to her website, she will give you these free digital image downloads, and they're a lot of fun. They remind me of some of those cloths that you uh, get from Africa, or um, some of the designs that you see in Australia. Very vivid and bright. She likes red, I think, is her favorite color, so you'll see a lot of that in her art. Anyway, I am gonna get those papers glued down, and then I'm going to have to seal it again with another coat of um, the matte medium, because once again we have these papers that are just printed on, printer paper and need to be sealed. So I'm going to seal that down and add some more colorization. We need to put our shadows in, put a quote on here, do some decorative edges, that sort of thing. But, back to the prompts. If you will remember, I didn't like the staple part because I didn't want to staple through my page. So I'm going to use repeat, and I'm going to repeat some of those colors that I used before, and I'm just going to stipple some of that color on with a brush. I'm going to add some of that shadowing using my pit markers. I have both the big brush and the regular size markers. They both work just fine. And if you have the matte medium down on the page and seal the page, it's really easy to manipulate that with your finger and blend it into the background. So now I'm going to stipple in some more of the light tone to push some of that back into the background. It's a little bit too much in my face. So I've got that pistachio kind of color, and I'm using that. And now I have some old rub-ons, and I'm going to put a cinnamon on here because it's about that time. I'm going to wrap up my page. And so with these old rub-ons, sometimes they work real well, sometimes they don't. If you don't have the entire alphabet, which I didn't, I'm just going to use things like a P to make an R, use my pen, draw it in. You can do that. You can cut these alphabets into pieces and use up portions of them. Rub-ons are a whole lot of fun, and they seem to be coming back into style. I noticed that a lot of people are starting to carry them I know Seth Apter has rub-ons on his page for sale. So there again, I didn't have an R, so I'm just going to turn that P into an R. And my page is going to say Stronger Together, because we are stronger with our friends. We are stronger supporting one another. And I was talking with the group this morning about a quote that Mary Beth Shaw had on a piece of art that she had picked up from a gentleman crafter when she had gone to a craft show. And I can't remember the exact quote, but I'll put a link down below to Stencil Girl Talk, because that's where she was talking about it. It was something like, we are, you can't be angry with one another when you're holding hands, something like that. Anyway, can't be fighting when you're holding hands, whatever. You get the drift. So I'm just reminding people to be kind. You know, in this wild world that we're in right now, you need to be kind and care for one another. And that's what art community is all about. That's what our art community does. We share our art and can keep each other happy, you know, just working on the things that make us happy, fill our time at home, and give us something to do. So I hope you like this. I hope you come and join us on Art Joy is Sharing. I hope you work on our challenges and use our hashtags so that we can find you on social media. And I hope that if you're new to my channel, that you consider subscribing, liking, sharing, clicking the bell for notification, all of that stuff, and check the description box below, because there's a lot of pertinent information for you there. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you again next time around. Bye for now.